So, starting this video off, all I gotta ask, if we win this game, do we get Myles Garrett? Is that how this works? Like, we win and then we automatically get Myles Garrett for winning? Because I think that needs to be in a contract before we start this game off. If we win, we get Myles Garrett. If you win, Brownies, well, congratulations. You kind of ended our season because we'll be 2-5, and you kind of ended the Bengals season. So that's like winning enough. But if we win, we want Myles Garrett because we need him. And if we win this game, we'll be 3-4, excuse me. And at least then we have a good chance, or a great chance actually, to go on a run and potentially go to the playoffs. I think we will, but I'm just going to keep everything up to speculation at this moment in time. So all I know is I want Myles Garrett as our victory. As our trophy, I want Myles Garrett in Cincinnati. So that's kind of how I look at this game. I think we should get Myles Garrett. DJ Turner is now on the injury report. Bro, can we just get like one break with our secondary, please? Just one. I just want one break with our secondary. That's all I ask. That's all I want. Just give us one break. And now he has an ankle injury. He was a limited participant in practice. We'll see how that ends up working out. Hopefully he is okay. Hopefully he does practice the next 2 days, and he is good to go for this weekend. Chris Jenkins will still be on the injury report with his thumb injury, full participant in process. He is 100% good. He's just recovering from surgery. Poison Ivy, still on the 21-day process. Again, he is good to go. He is literally could play at any time. It really comes down to whenever they want to activate him to the 53-man roster. Until they have 21 days to do this, okay? So if they don't want to do this right now, they don't have to. And what they can do is wait, and he doesn't count against the roster. So my guess is they're going to try to delay this as much as humanly possible, because that means they can kind of chill, relax, and wait, and still have him on the back burner ready to go. So again, they're not going to really change this until they have to. If they don't have to, put him on the active roster, they're not going to. So with that being said, Joe Burrow also has a right wrist injury, who is on, the injury report, of course, because he's going through surgery to get that better, and it is still recovering. Well, no, he already got surgery, but he went through surgery, which is why he's on the injury report. He already, his surgery was successful, way back in the day. Anyway, let's talk about Sam Hubbard, because someone actually brought up a good point. Why is Sam Hubbard not on the injury report, right? And I'll be honest with you, I have no idea why. So if we go back, right, an injury report, do they still have the injury report posted here? They don't have it posted here for week 3, which is weird, to be honest. Why didn't they have it for preseason? I figured they would have preseason injury report here, but they do not, sadly. So in preseason, in training camp in preseason, Sam Hubbard was on the injury report because he has a hamstring injury. He has a grade 3 hamstring injury that he's been very vocal about, by the way. It's not like this is a hidden thing. He's been very vocal about his grade 3 hamstring injury. Yet he has not been put on the injury report at all this whole entire season, which I don't know how they're getting around that, to be honest. I know somebody said in the comments, well, maybe he's not being treated for it, and that's why he's not on the injury report. But as you know, with the injury report, because it's all about betting odds, right? And I could, technically speaking, place a $20 bet and say, I think Sam Hubbard is going to have 4 sacks against Cleveland, right? So the reason why these players are on the injury report is because betting odds. If you bet on someone, you need to know what's going to happen, right? So that's why they're so a stickler about this, because they care about betting, and there's legality about that, you know? You can't have a player and say, oh, yeah, over under, Joe Burrow is going to throw 500 yards this weekend, but then we don't disclose that he has something wrong with, you know, I don't know, his wrist or his arm or his hand or whatever, and then you make that bet and you're like, wait, that's bullcrap because I didn't know he was injured. So that's the whole point. I don't know how Sam Hubbard's getting around that. Well, not Sam Hubbard, but the Bengals. Because I would think they would have to put him on there. Even if you're sick, they put you on there. If you have an illness, they put you on there. If you have any kind of problem, your ear hurts, your arm hurts, your finger hurts, you know, even if it's the smallest issue, they have to put you on there for betting purposes. And with him having a grade 3 hamstring, I don't know how they're avoiding that. Because I would think they have to disclose that to the general public for betting purposes. I'm not sure how they're getting around that, especially because he's been very vocal about it. Now, if he didn't say anything and he was like very, you know, tight-lipped about it and just refused to talk about it, they could get around it and say, oh, well, it's not as bad as people think it is. You know, it's really just a minor injury. It's a minor thing. Or not even that. Like, it's just you know, it's something that isn't to worry about. But he's been very vocal. He said recently it's a grade 3 hamstring. He said he's been working with the trainers, working with the doctors to get better, get healthier, and he's playing through the injury. So I don't know how he's not on the injury report. He definitely should be on the injury report in some capacity, kind of like, again, Joe Burrow here. Who is Joe Burrow hurt? No, but Joe Burrow had a wrist injury. You know, he had a wrist surgery, so therefore he's on the injury report at all times because of that until he fully recovers, which his full recovery time, I believe, fully recovered, meaning no inflammation in his wrist at all, he won't be recovered for over a year. Like, it will be another year before his inflammation in his wrist goes away. But he is recovered at this moment in time, but his recovery time with his, like, when he's fully, nothing's going to be wrong with Joe Burrow, probably a year from now. So he'll be on the injury report for a year now. Next year, he'll be on the injury report with his right wrist injury because inflammation will always be in his wrist for the next year. Even if he's, again, feeling 100% fine. Chris Jenkins, he'll be on the injury report with his thumb injury for the next probably 2 or 3, maybe a month, until he fully recovers. Until the doctor looks at his thumb and says, wow, you are fully recovered, and there's no setbacks, no issue at all. He will still be on the injury report. So, I don't know why Sam Hubbard's not. That is a very weird situation, but yeah. On their side, they have a lot of players hurt. A lot. And yes, Nick Chubb is back. We'll see what his snap count ends up being. Here's what I understand. It's going to be limited. He's not going to get a full repertoire of snap count. But even that, I mean, 20, 30 snaps probably is what he's looking for in this game. That's still going to be a lot of snaps, and it's still Nick Chubb. So even if he is very limited, it is still a really great running back that we have to shut down. In my opinion, one of the best running backs in the league. All right, so next thing I want to talk about. This bad boy right here. And this has been talked about many, many times. And being someone who lives in Dayton, Ohio, it doesn't upset me, but it annoys me because I already know that all this is taxpayers' money going ahead and funding this operation. So, you know, as a taxpayer, it's frustrating. So Hamilton County will explore costs of putting a dome over Cincinnati Bengals Stadium. This has been talked about many, many, many times over the years. A dome would obviously add more events, like winter events, night events, stuff like that. If it's raining out, if it's snowing out, you can still do events in Paycor Stadium. It makes more money for the stadium, makes more money for the city. And they could host concerts, you know, different Bengals events, stuff like that. I mean, they could even do like, what's that monster truck rally crap? Like, they could do all that stuff, right? Now, I love the idea, I really do, right? And if it wasn't for the fact that taxpayers have to pay for this, I would 100% say maybe consider it, you know? I do like the fact that we are an outside stadium because that's just AFC North football, and that's a part of our advantage is that you have to play in the rain, sleet, snow. When you come to Paycor Stadium, when you come to the jungle, you know, we have fun and games, and you're going to have to deal with it. I like the fact that we have that. So I don't know if I would like a dome from a football perspective. But again, if Mike Brown was sitting here saying, hey man, I'm going to pay for the whole thing, you guys, taxpayers, you don't got to do nothing. I'd be like, okay, I feel more confident in that. I feel a lot more confident. But when you add in the fact that taxpayers are going to be paying for it, that's when I would have a little bit of an issue. We also don't know how long this would take. My guess is a complete roof on this stadium, probably a year and a half, and that would be a long process. I would guess we'd have to move to another stadium in the time being of us doing that. We wouldn't be able to play, obviously, at Paycor when they're adding roof to it. So that would be a mess. And again, if there's any setbacks, timeline problems with that, now we're talking about extending that window. I'm just not too much of a fan of this. And I know overall wise, you know, yeah, we need Zach Taylor. We need Zach Taylor to call clutch plays at the end of 4 games in a row, and then maybe we would consider it. If he can call clutch plays to win in the clutch in 4 games in a row, I'm talking about really good play calls, and not just run the ball 3 times and punt it or kick a field goal, then maybe we would consider it. But I'm going to need some clutchness out of Zach Taylor's play calling before I even consider this. And no, Zach Taylor has nothing to do with this idea, but the point is, you know, I need some happiness of Zach Taylor being clutch as a play caller before I consider, you know, my tax paying dollars go toward a roof to a stadium, which, you know, honestly, I don't think we need a roof to the stadium. I really do not think we need one. And I know, again, we've talked about many times with the proposals of $1 billion upgrade to the stadiums, and it's all very interesting. I mean, if you're going to do $1 billion worth of upgrades, I'm not sure how much this would cost to upgrade, but if you're going to do that, at that point, you might as well just go ahead and build a new stadium. If you're already going to try to do $1.5–2 billion worth of upgrades, you're kind of in the ballpark range of, okay, let's just build a new stadium. We also, our lease for this stadium goes up in 2026, which obviously is another year from now, a year and a half from now. So that's another factor we got to take into consideration. They still have not worked out a lease deal at this moment in time. So they still have to work out a lease deal. They still have to work out all that stuff. And now we're talking about potentially putting a roof on the stadium, which I don't think is going to happen. But tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys next one. Peace.